Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is democracy really? A simple question, yet one that unveils a complex tapestry of human history. As we peel back the layers, we encounter ancient civilizations, revolutions, and the ever-evolving concept of governance. Today we embark on a fascinating journey, tracing the footsteps of democracy from its cradle to its contemporary form. So fasten your mental seatbelts and prepare for a voyage through time. Join us as we take a journey back in time to explore the origins and development of democracy. Our journey begins in ancient Greece, the birthplace of democracy. The concept of democracy, as we know it today, began to take shape around 508 to 507 BC in the city-state of Athens. The term democracy itself originates from the Greek words demos, meaning people, and kratia, meaning power. In essence, it signified power to the people, a radically new idea in a world dominated by monarchies and empires. Enter Cleisthenes, an Athenian leader often referred to as the father of Athenian democracy. Fed up with the aristocratic rule and tyranny, Cleisthenes introduced a series of political reforms aiming to shift the power from the nobility to the people. His vision was simple yet profound, a system where every citizen could participate in the city's decision-making process. The democracy Cleisthenes instituted was not the representative democracy we are familiar with today, but a direct democracy. In this system, rather than electing representatives to make decisions on their behalf, every citizen had the right to voice their opinions and vote in the city's assembly. From matters of war and peace to legal disputes and public office appointments, the citizens of Athens had a say in all. This direct democracy was not without its limitations and criticism. For instance, the definition of citizen was restricted to free adult males, excluding a large portion of the population such as women, slaves, and foreigners. Nevertheless, it was a significant step towards a more inclusive political system. Cleisthenes' vision of democracy was not universally accepted or instantly successful. It faced resistance, underwent modifications, and even fell out of favor for periods of time, yet it left an indelible mark on the annals of human history. The concept of democracy, born in the cradle of Western civilization, would go on to inspire countless social and political movements across the globe. It became the cornerstone of modern political thought, shaping the way we understand governance, rights, and freedom. The seeds of democracy were sown in ancient Greece, but the concept was yet to take root globally. From Greece, we move to the Roman Republic, another significant milestone in the evolution of democracy. This period, which spanned from the 6th to the 1st century BCE, saw the Romans take the Athenian concept of democracy and mold it into a system that suited their own societal structure. The Romans introduced the system of representative government, an innovation that would become the bedrock of many modern democracies. Unlike the Athenians who practiced direct democracy, the Romans believed in the principle of choosing representatives who would then make decisions on behalf of the people. This allowed for a more manageable system, particularly given Rome's expansive population and geographical reach. Arguably, the most significant contribution of the Roman Republic was the concept of res publica, or public affairs. This was the idea that the state existed to serve the public good, and that those in power were accountable to the people they represented. A radical idea for its time, it fundamentally shifted the balance of power from the individual ruler to the collective citizenry. Yet, as we all know, the Roman Republic didn't last forever. Internal strife, political corruption, and a series of civil wars led to its downfall and the rise of an autocratic regime. The Republic gave way to the Roman Empire, marking a significant departure from democratic governance. But the fall of the Republic should not be seen as the end of Roman influence on democracy. Indeed, the principles of representative government and public service that the Republic championed found their way into the political systems of many future civilizations. Even today, we can see the Roman fingerprints on the democratic institutions of various nations. Despite the fall of the Roman Republic, the democratic principles it upheld would echo through the ages. The Roman legacy, while marred by the eventual transition to autocracy, remains a crucial chapter in the history of democracy. It serves as both a testament to the enduring appeal of democratic ideals and a reminder of the challenges they face. Fast forward to the Enlightenment, a period that saw the rebirth and spread of democratic ideals. This era, spanning the 17th and 18th centuries, was marked by a profound shift in thinking. It was an age of reason, challenging the authority of monarchs and the church, and placing the power of knowledge in the hands of the individual. Among the luminaries of this period were thinkers like Jean-Jacques Rousseau and John Locke. They were the champions of the individual and the rule of law. Rousseau, with his social contract, advocated for a society where all citizens have a voice. He believed that sovereignty should lie not with the king, but with the people. Locke, on the other hand, championed the concept of natural rights, life, liberty, and property. These rights, he argued, were inherent and could not be surrendered to the state. Their ideas, revolutionary in their time, found fertile ground across the Atlantic, where a new nation was on the cusp of birth. The American Revolution was not just a battle for independence, but a struggle for the establishment of a democratic nation. The United States, with its Constitution and Bill of Rights, enshrined the ideals of democracy, the rule of law, the rights of the individual, and the sovereignty of the people. Across the ocean, another revolution seethed. The French Revolution, a bloody and tumultuous period, was nonetheless a significant event inspired by democratic ideals. It sought to dismantle the old feudal order, replacing it with a society where citizens have equal rights and the power to govern. These were not easy transitions. They were marked by conflict, resistance, and sacrifice. But they laid the foundations for the democratic societies we live in today. The Enlightenment was not just a period of intellectual growth. It was a democratic revolution, igniting a spark that would continue to spread across the globe, challenging old norms and ushering in a new era of governance. The Enlightenment ignited a democratic revolution that would continue to spread across the globe. In the modern era, democracy has become the predominant form of government globally. This shift didn't happen overnight. It was the result of a series of groundbreaking events and movements that took place throughout the 20th century. The first half of the 20th century saw the end of colonial rule in many parts of the world. Countries in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean began to break free from their colonial masters, seeking to establish their own sovereign states. This decolonization movement was not just about political independence, but also about the assertion of the democratic ideals of self-rule and self-determination. Meanwhile, in Europe, the fall of authoritarian regimes marked another significant chapter in the story of democracy. In the late 20th century, the Iron Curtain fell, and countries in Eastern Europe emerged from decades of totalitarian rule. These nations embarked on a transition towards democracy, a journey that was fraught with challenges but also filled with hope. In addition to these geopolitical shifts, the 20th century also saw the expansion of the democratic principle of universal suffrage. In the early 20th century, only a small fraction of the world's population had the right to vote. However, as the century progressed, more and more countries began to recognize the voting rights of all their adult citizens, regardless of their race, gender, or social status. This was a significant step forward in the evolution of democracy, as it meant that the power to decide the fate of a country was now in the hands of its people. Moreover, the 20th century saw the increasing recognition of human rights. Democracy and human rights are intrinsically linked. One cannot truly exist without the other. The establishment of the United Nations and the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 underscored this connection and affirmed the global commitment to the democratic ideals of freedom and equality. Today, despite its challenges, democracy continues to represent the aspiration of people for freedom and equality. Our journey through the history of democracy has been a fascinating one. We've traced the footprints of democracy back to its very birthplace in ancient Greece. The idea of people power, of demos and kratos, was a revolutionary concept that forever changed the course of human history. We then journeyed to Rome, where we saw democracy take on a new form. The Roman Republic, with its system of representative government, was a testament to the adaptability of democratic ideals. Despite the rise and fall of empires, the essence of democracy persisted, shaping societies and influencing governance. Our exploration then brought us to the Enlightenment. During this period, the democratic flame was kindled anew. Philosophers and thinkers of the time breathed life into the principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity, setting the stage for the rebirth of democracy. And in the modern era, we've seen democracy spread its wings across the globe. From the Americas to Asia, from Africa to Europe, the democratic ideal has rooted itself in diverse societies. It has evolved, adapted, and flourished, reflecting the universal human longing for freedom, equality, and self-governance. Democracy, with its roots in the past and its branches reaching into the future, continues to be a beacon of hope for societies worldwide. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of democracy.